How is that gizmo? Can I ask you a question? Have you tried the Cine Mini Sundae with the fresh made cinnamon rolls and the Tahitian vanilla soft serve? Oh my God.
He's breaking in. Guys, you gotta catch him breaking in. The mayor of this town is now putting his foot down, demanding Sundays. He literally knows everyone here.
Andrew Zimmern has eaten his way across the globe. But today I've joined him in his native habitat, the Minnesota State Fair, a world of corn dogs and cotton candy sandwiches. So why here? It starts with Andrew, age 14, donning an apron and slowly working his way into some of New York's best restaurants. In 1992, after a hard year of alcohol and drug addiction, he moved to Minnesota, the place he's decided to call home since.
Do you have time for a picture with a fan?
We're actually shooting television right now.
Oh, jeez.
I do understand what happened in New York to some extent, and you land here and you fall in love with it and the place saves you, but why did you choose here? Why did you end up here?
I was actually shanghaied in the 19th, 18th century naval sense of the word. I walked into my umpteenth intervention to begin what was going to be my umpteenth attempt to be sober, except this time, instead of fighting it, I just said, what time's my plane?
You are, my understanding is, as one person put it in your orbit, the unofficial mayor of like, maybe Minnesota, but like definitely this festival.
I came here summer of 1992 for the first time to the State Fair, was blown away by the history, was lifted up by the people, the connection, the community. The next thing you know, it's 27 years later, I'm still sober, I still live here, and I really think that this community, the people here, are what saved me. I was so damaged. A lot of people, when they get sober, need to be rehabilitated. You hear that word all the time. I needed to be habilitated. I did not know how to live.
How did that roll into, you get clean, then you end up opening your own restaurant, right? Like shortly thereafter. How did community play into that?
Massively. So I'm in treatment for 5 weeks, then they suggest I live in a halfway house for 5-6 months. I go do that. And when it was time to leave the house, I got a job as a dishwasher at a French restaurant. One day, one of the cooks didn't show up and everyone was in a panic. And I said, I can put out that station. So I ended up putting out that station that day for the lunch service, a 125-seat French bistro. The owner of the restaurant, his office, he could look down the line from where his office was, and he gave me one of these through the door, and he sat me down in his office and he said, can you explain to me why my dishwasher just made food that looks better than the food my chef makes?
Right.
I said, well, I have a confession to make. I'm a food professional and I'm from New York and I'm doing the sober thing here in Minneapolis. He literally right away said, well, how quickly can you replace my chef? Because I tapped into this underground railroad of really seriously good cooks and chefs who were coming through Minnesota, which is one of the world's hotbeds of recovery. I started to like sort of pick and choose, and we put together an incredible team of people. We'd have meetings in the back of the restaurant.
It's like a Chef Avengers by people,
Yes.
by like chefs who are like recovering here, rebooting.
And you know, we're just trying so hard to make up for lost time and to make, you know, amends to ourselves through this, and to make up for all the days you're late, all the days you showed up hungover, all the days you stole mise en place from someone else, all the days you stole from the restaurant. We were just firing on all cylinders, and it became one of the best restaurants in Minneapolis.
Look, I'm a Midwestern media guy, right?
Uh-huh.
I've worked for East Coast companies for a decade, and it worked out for me, and no one understands how it works.
Yep.
Did you think about moving back to New York at that time? Like, if I want to do this, I should be writing for the New York Times.
Every day.
I should be.
Life worked for me here. I was really happy for the first time in my life. The first 4, 5, 6, 7 years I was sober here. I mean, really, truly happy. So when I was 8, 9, 10 years sober and gonna swing it over into other stuff, I was like, I can do it here. I can do it here. Straight out of cookies. Cookie?
No, it's nothing. Thank you.
You gotta live your brand, kid.
We were on your program a couple of years ago eating mini donuts here.
Were you?
Yeah, so
You want a
it's
cookie?
How are you doing?
doing?
I'm good. How are you? Have a cookie.
Shake your hand quick.
Nice to meet
Nice
you.
to meet you. It's awesome to see
Have
you.
a cookie.
Thank you, I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
they're all good. No, take the double.
Take the double, yeah.
Double, that's good luck.
This feels like the world's biggest small town thing. I'm from the Midwest, but this is like Midwest by Midwest standards. How do you feel like your work has changed over hundreds of
dramatically.
episodes? Because I mean, yes,
Dramatically.
you have like, you know, Bizarre Foods is still like that brand and that moniker, but like
Different show,
for
though.
me watching the show, it's a vastly different show that I remember.
So I had a great idea, pitched it to Travel Channel. Travel Channel said, we love that. It's a great show. That's 8 episodes on PBS. It was very intellectual. It was very highbrow. It was really a deep dive into culture through food. Very smart. A brilliant man, Pat Young, was running Travel Channel at the time. He said, I run an entertainment network. Give me 75% entertainment, 25% intelligence instead of the reverse. And it was the Faustian bargain. He said, yes, anyone who signs up to make money in television gives away a piece of their integrity. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
We both have when we sign on to do this stuff. However, he said, you'll be able to preach that message, that 25% of the show, to people in 140 countries instead of just folks on, you know, WNET. And I was like, okay. The first year, I had no control over the show. It was definitely fat guy goes around the world, eats bugs.
In my mind's eye, that's what I remember the first seasons
Oh, yeah.
of Bizarre Foods as, I mean, frankly, without sounding critical, a little bit of exoticism involved with it, right? Like in sort of the older school Nat Geo way.
There was a lot of cultural insensitivity. There were a lot of missed opportunities. There was a lot of playing somebody else's serious cultural totems. I adhere to them for laughs. I had to change it if I wanted to have a longer career doing that. And lo and behold, that's what happened. I mean, we you know, I think year 3, I got executive producer credit. You know, at that point, all of it became, where do I want to go? What do I want to do? What do I want to say? I mean, obviously within the boundaries of delivering the product to the network, and
Yeah.
you know, TV is a team sport. I'm not shooting and
Right.
you know, being in the show at the same time. If I could figure out a way to do that, I would. We're in the middle of shooting something, no problem. You know, it's not just about the foods and the carnival games and all the rest of that. It's about the animals, and you know, the unions have a booth, the political parties have booths, everyone, the whole state.
You would make a very strong case that this is about more than a gallon of cookies in your hand.
I'm trying to. With all the news of the last 2 years, I think what's really fun about the fair is that it reminds you that A, we can put aside those differences, because half the people here are blue, half the people are red, right? You know, to come here and be reminded, you know something, our country's made of people, and the people here are pretty darn good, and I think we can withstand even this crap is, you know, is pretty slick.
All right, the cynical part of me is about to say, yeah, but half of them are really racist.
I'm opening a restaurant in the suburbs of Minneapolis in a mall. And I'm doing it on purpose.
Because obviously you want to reach
Because I'm trying
middle
to
America.
prove a point, I guess. I mean, it's
Yeah.
a very expensive point to prove if I
Yeah.
don't make it. But I was at Madame House in New York. I was at Mr. Jew's in San Francisco. Great, like, personal Chinese restaurants. Danny Bowen's Mission Chinese. I mean, I keep going on and on about
Yeah.
these very personal takes on Chinese cuisine. And I love it. And I sat there and I started to think about some of my friends back in Minnesota, and I'm like, they wouldn't get it. They wouldn't get it. And I said, well, why? What is it? What do I want them to do? And I realized I want them to get it. So what I have to do is I have to introduce them to hot chili oil, and introduce them to a hand-cut noodle, and introduce them to a real roast duck.
It feels like it's your take on education about food and sort of entertainment, combining that, but putting it into a restaurant, but doing it in I guess a less branded, more authentic way.
I think
With branding
so,
around it,
but at
with the restaurant.
But at the same time, I'm going to pursue the big marketing idea and try to put 200 of them
Right, exactly.
around because
Exactly.
because I have a lot of ambition from a business model standpoint. I think we can do it,
Yeah.
and so that's the challenge of the modern day entrepreneur with a soul.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I have a soul. I want to make the world a better place. We don't do a business deal in my office if we don't think it leaves the world a better place. So how do you justify putting 200 restaurants across middle America? Well, number one, I think I'm saving the souls of all the people from having to dine at these horseshit restaurants masquerading as Chinese food that are in the Midwest. That's number one.
Yeah. Okay, so my question is, so how does a white guy make a Chinese restaurant in Minneapolis that isn't just good and approachable, but doesn't feel like it's othering the culture?
I've been going to China every year for the last 20 some odd years. I was doing it before I was doing TV. And I'm obsessed with Chinese food and culture. I have been since I was a little kid. And I'm now trying to use my platform to show people what beautiful big flavors are from that culture and kind of move it all forward just one little degree. Because I'm not worried about people in New York or LA being exposed to Chinese food and culture. I'm worried about people in Indianapolis being exposed to Chinese culture. I mean, maybe I took it on because other people haven't been able to do it, you know? I mean, was P.F. Chang's not a ripoff because Cecilia Chang's kid owned it? Because despite how he looks on the outside, he's a rich American kid on the inside, right? You're neither agreeing nor disagreeing.
I don't know where to go with it. I don't know where to go with it.
I mean, it's
a complicated one. I don't know if I'm willing to agree to that line of thinking altogether. I think it's where it is. It's hard. I think you in particular, not that my opinion totally matters on it, but from the outside it does feel like you've paid your dues with a career of journalism and sort of reporting in a way, right? Mm-hmm. And maybe it is a gradient. Maybe it's not a wrong or right. Rick Bayless, his books taught me to cook Mexican food. Right, like Julia Child's books taught, a generation before me to cook French food. At the same time, it's like Bayless has grown really large. He's opened a whole lot of restaurants. Should other people have opportunities to be opening those restaurants, perhaps instead, get some of that investment instead? Like
well,
maybe it's tough.
At the end of the day, it's about our motives, number one. And I'll leave you with one last thought on this. Is it true? Does it need to be said? And if it's true and needs to be said, is it up to me to say it? Those are the three questions I ask myself. I try to, before I do anything, open my mouth, build something, make something. You know, it's true that this market needs that kind of thing, and it's true that I want to do it. And does it need to happen? You know, I think it does. Someone else is going to do it, and someone else is going to be the next P.F. Chang, and I don't want them to blow it. And then is it up to me to do it? I don't know. I certainly think I'm in the conversation, you know, and just because I'm not Chinese, I leave that to the rest of the world to judge. But if I can get people to open their mind 1 degree, just spread those blinders 1 degree about something new to eat from another culture, I think the rising tide floats all boats. Plus, we have a T-shirt that says "Get Lucky" in Chinese on the back.
Oh, done then.
Oh,
done.
sorry.
Why did you just lead with that?